Chapter 62. Two Kinds of Demons. "Ah!" exclaimed both Rochfort and her ladyship at the same instant. "It is you!" "Yes, it is I." "And you come from?" demanded her ladyship. "From La Rochelle, and you?" "From England." "And Buckingham?" "Is dead or dangerously wounded. As I was leaving without having obtained anything from him, a fanatic had just assassinated him." "Ah," said Rochfort, smiling, "that was a very fortunate chance, which will please his eminence much. Have you informed him of it?" "I wrote to him from Boulogne, but what brings you here?" "His eminence, being uneasy, has sent me to look for you." "I only arrived yesterday." "And what have you been doing since?" "I've not been wasting my time." "Oh, I do not doubt you." "Do you know whom I have met with here?" "No." "Guess." "How can I?" "That young woman whom the Queen took from prison." "What, the mistress of young D'Artagnan?" "Yes, Madame Bonancieux, whose refuge the cardinal could not discover." "Well then," said Rochfort, "this is a chance quite fit to pair with the other. Verily, the cardinal's a fortunate man." "Fancy my astonishment," continued her ladyship, "when I found myself face to face with the woman." "Does she know you?" "No." "Then she looks upon you as a stranger?" Her ladyship smiled. "I am her dearest friend." "Upon my honour," said Rochfort, "my dear countess, it is only you who can perform these sorts of miracles." "And well it is that I can, chevalier," said her ladyship. "For do you know what is about to happen?" "No." "They are coming for her tomorrow or the next day with an order from the Queen." "Really? And who do you mean by they?" "D'Artagnan and his friends." "Verily, they will go to such a length that we shall be obliged to put them into the Bastille." "And why has it not been done already?" "How can I tell? Because the cardinal evinces a weakness against these men which I cannot comprehend." "Really? Well then, tell him this, Rochfort. Tell him that our conversation at the Red Dovecot was overheard by these four men. Tell him that after his departure, one of them came up and took from me by force the passport he had given me. Tell him that they gave Lord de Winter notice of my voyage to England, that this time again they nearly prevented the success of my undertaking, as they did in the affair of the diamond studs. Tell him that amongst these four men only two are to be feared, D'Artagnan and Athos. Tell him that the third, Aramis, is the lover of Madame de Chevreuse. He must be allowed to live, for his secret is known, and he may be made useful. And as for the fourth, Porthos, he is a fool, a fop, a ninny, not worth giving one's self the smallest trouble about." "But these four men ought to be at this moment at the siege of La Rochelle." "I thought so too, but a letter which Madame Bonancieux has received from Madame de Chevreuse, and with which she has the imprudence to communicate to me, leads me to believe that these four men are now on their way to abduct her." "The devil! What must we do?" "What did the cardinal say to you about me?" "That I was to take your despatches, whether verbal or written, and to return by post." "When he knows what you have done, he will give you further directions." "I must remain here, then?" "Here or in the neighbourhood." "You cannot take me with you?" "No, the order is explicit. In the environs of the camp you might be recognized, and you can understand that your presence might compromise his eminence, especially after what has just happened in England. Only tell me beforehand where you will await the cardinal's orders, that I may know where to find you." "Listen, it is very probable that I cannot remain here." "Why?" "You forget that my enemies may arrive at any moment." "True, but then this little woman will escape his eminence." "Bah!" said her ladyship with a smile peculiar to herself. "You forget that I am her best friend." "Ah, there's something in that. Then I may tell the cardinal with regard to this woman." "That he may make himself easy." "Is that all? Will he know what that means?" "He will guess it." "And now let us see, what ought I to do?" "You must set off this instant. It appears to me that the news you carry is well worth the trouble of a little haste." "My carriage broke down on entering Lilliers." "Excellent." "What do you mean by excellent?" "Why, that I want your carriage." "And how am I to travel, then?" "On on post-horses. You talk of it very unconcernedly, 180 leagues. What do they signify? Well, it shall be done. What next? On passing through Lilliers, you will send your carriage to me with directions to your lackey to attend to my commands. Very well. You have, no doubt, some order from the cardinal in your possession. Yes, I have my full powers. You will show that to the abbess, and you will tell her that I shall be sent for either today or tomorrow, and that I must accompany the persons sent in your name. Very well. Do not forget to speak harshly of me when you talk to the abbess. Why so? I'm one of the cardinal's victims. I must inspire some confidence in that poor little Madame Bonancieux. Right, and now you will make me a report of all that has occurred? I've already told you the events, and you have a good memory, so repeat what I've told you. A paper may be lost. You're right, only let me know where you are to be found, that I may not have to run about the country in vain. Oh, there's something in that. Wait. Do you require a map? Oh, I know this country well. You? When did you ever visit it? I was brought up here. Indeed. It is some advantage, you see, to have been brought up somewhere. You will wait for me, then? Let me consider a moment. Ah, yes, at Armentières. And where is Armentières? It is a little village on the Lys. I shall only have to cross the river, and I shall be in another country. Capital, but you must remember that you are only to cross the river in case of danger. That is understood. And in that case, how shall I discover where you are? You do not want your servant? Is he one on whom you can depend? Entirely. Give him to me. No one knows him. I will leave him at the place I quit, and he will conduct you to me. And you say that you will wait for me at Armentières? Yes, at Armentières. Write the name for me on some slip of paper, lest I should forget it. The name of a village will not compromise anyone, will it? Ah, who knows? But never mind, said her ladyship, writing the name on a half-sheet of paper. I will run the hazard. Good, said Rochfort, taking from her ladyship's hands the paper, which he folded, and then stuffed into the lining of his hat. And I shall, besides, do like the children, and as a safeguard against the loss of the paper, I shall repeat the name all the way I go. Now is that all? I think so. Let us see. Buckingham dead or grievously wounded. Your conversation with the cardinal overheard by the Musketeers. Lord de Winter warned of your arrival at Portsmouth. D'Artagnan and Athos to the Bastille. Aramis, the lover of Madame de Chevreuse. Porthos, a fool. Madame Bonancieux discovered. To send you the carriage as soon as possible. To put my lackey under your orders. To make you out a victim of the cardinal, that the abbess may have no suspicion. Armentières on the banks of the Lys. Is that right? Verily, my dear Chevalier, you are a miracle of memory. But, by the way, add one thing. And what is that? I saw some very pretty woods, which must join the gardens of the convent. Say that I may be allowed to walk in these woods. Who knows, I may perhaps be obliged to escape by some back door. You think of everything, and you forget one thing. What's that? To ask me whether I want any money. Exactly. How much will you have? All the gold you may have about you. I've nearly 500 pistols. I've about as many. With 1,000 pistols, one may face anything. Empty your pockets. There. Excellent. And when do you set off? In 1 hour, just time enough to eat a morsel, whilst I send to fetch a post-horse. Excellent. Adieu, Count. Adieu, Countess. My compliments to the cardinal. My compliments to Satan. Her ladyship and Rochfort exchanged smiles and separated. In an hour afterwards, Rochfort set out at full speed, and 5 horses afterwards he passed through Arras. Our readers already know how he was recognized by D'Artagnan, and how that recognition, by exciting the fears of our 4 musketeers, had given a new activity to their journey.